piece that I have written for Musica's moving image concert is entitled Southern Specter, and the instrumentation is flute, violin, viola, cello, and piano. And this is sort of a piece that I've had ideas swirling in my head about for a few years. I grew up on the Texas Gulf Coast in a little city, Nederland, which is between Beaumont and Port Arthur. And I grew up spending a lot of time outdoors. And there's this image that's, I don't know, always resonated with me since childhood. And it's the imagery of large southern live oaks that are draped with Spanish moss. It's something that is really emblematic of this region of the country, to the point that, it's a landscape that becomes even almost like a character in Southern Gothic novels. If you think about shows like HBO's True Detective, you see it everywhere. It's something that is ubiquitous and pervasive, and always just sort of ever present in the backdrop, sort of ghost-like. And that's how I came up with the title Southern Specter, is that it's always sort of hovering like an apparition. But when I was deciding how I would write this piece, I thought I would have the piece contain two different kinds of music. The first type of music being objective, meaning it is attempting to depict the tree itself. And so audience members will hear music that's sort of cold and aloof, somewhat amorphous. It's out of time, it's not really metered sort of music. And it's supposed to sort of sound like perhaps the moss hanging from the tree, very gently sort of undulating in the breeze. And then the second type of music is representational in nature, meaning that it's a music that is supposed to be like the internal emotions or feelings of someone who is viewing this tree. And so this music is much less aloof and cold. It's more expressive and has moments of emotional outburst. My film collaborator for this piece is Richard Johnson. He teaches at Western Michigan University in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And Richard and I actually met in Kansas City while I was doing my master's degree there, and he was doing a doctorate in composition. He's a very talented composer. And I already had conceived the basic idea for this piece and shared that with him. And then once he agreed to work with me on it, he came down from Michigan to Houston, and we did some shooting around on Bray's Bayou. He had a really good idea of the type of atmosphere that I was trying to cultivate with the music, because he had looked at my score sketches ahead of time. And so it was a really easy sort of collaboration of just, he said, well, what about this? What about this angle? And I was doing the same. Hey, this looks great. What about this shot? And talking about how they could fit into the form of the piece.